This is my second try at filming this video. I hated the way the footage for the first one turned out. And I had to go up and down the stairs 3 separate times to gather all the books for this because I kept forgetting things. So if this one doesn't turn out well, I'm just done. I'm just done and this video isn't going up. Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Katie and I'm here to do the Mid-Year Book Freakout Tag. Nobody tagged me to do this, and I'm probably not tagging anybody to do this because I don't like to do that. So I'm going to try to find the wrap-ups that I've talked about, all the books that I'm going to mention in this tag for, and link them next to each book or whatever. That way if you want further information about anything I talk about, you can find it pretty easily. So the first prompt is the best book you've read so far in 2021. Now I had several contenders for this because I have read some great books this year. What I ultimately decided to go with though was Homegoing by Djeli. This book impacted me quite a lot. I thought the storytelling was brilliant. It is told in a rather unique format in that it follows an entire family over like a couple centuries or something. And you just get snippets. Like, you get like a chapter from each point of view going through the centuries. But it's done so well that that feels like enough. And I thought it was absolutely brilliant the way the author ended this book. It really just evoked huge emotion in me. It's beautiful as a historical fiction, it's beautiful as a literary fiction novel. All around, just a great, great read. The next prompt is the best sequel you've read in 2021. And I guess I've read quite a few sequels, but only one stood out to me for this question, and that was The Burning God by R.F. Kuang. I will talk more about the whole trilogy in itself coming up, but this was the final book in the trilogy, and it was everything it should have been, in my opinion. R.F. Kuang did a brilliant job wrapping this story arc up, and I adored it. I will definitely be reading this series again in the future. The next prompt is a new release you haven't read yet but want to, and for this one, there are also plenty of things I could go with, but I'm going to go with A Master of Djinn by P. Djeli Clark. I think I'm saying his name right, I don't actually know. This is one that Amrita from Amrita by the Book talked about, and it sounded phenomenal. It follows a female detective in a fantasy setting, and honestly, like, those are two things I love separately, so to have them together is going to be great. Next prompt is the most anticipated release for the second half of the year. This one took some digging to find some new releases coming in the second half of the year that I am actively excited for. I ended up going with Velvet Was the Night by Silvia Moreno-Garcia. I have read Gods of Jade and Shadow and Mexican Gothic and loved them both. I recently picked up The Beautiful Ones, also by the same author, and I haven't read it yet, but I'm expecting to enjoy it quite a bit. And then Velvet Was the Night comes out in August. A rather basic synopsis for Velvet Was the Night is there is a woman, she is living in Mexico City in the 1970s. She has a neighbor who is kind of a radical. She's in college and she's very opinionated and loud about her opinions. And suddenly the neighbor disappears and our main character gets sucked into the search for her and figuring out what's going on. Was it a government conspiracy? That kind of thing. Very excited for this, and I kind of dig the cover too. The next prompt is your biggest disappointment. Oh, this could go for a lot of things. I have two here that I think I've chosen, but honestly, there are so many things I could have given it to. First off, The Haunting of Bryn Wilder by Wendy Webb. This could have been so good, and it was trash. I was expecting like a haunting gothic novel, and it's not. It's not haunting, it's not gothic, it's barely suspense, it's mostly a crappy romance. And then The Wrong Family by Tarryn Fisher. I really enjoyed The Wives by Tarryn Fisher and was hoping for that level of suspense, that level of plot twist that just really leaves you sitting back in your seat like, what? Did I read that right? Am I understanding correctly? And I just didn't get it here. The next prompt is your biggest surprise. And I'm going to give that to Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers. I talked about this quite recently because I read it fairly recently. And this is like contemporary fiction, which is not typically what I read. But something about the character dynamics and the very real struggle of being in your late 20s and not feeling like you've actually gotten anywhere in all that time, and having a plan and finishing your plan and then not knowing where to go from there. All those things just really spoke to me. I'm going to link the wrap-up because I think I talked about it pretty in depth there, and I don't necessarily want to continue harping on about the same books for people who do watch all my videos, because that's probably going to get annoying. Favorite new author, debut or new to you? And that goes to Lyndon A. Lewis and the book The First Sister. This was phenomenal. I talked about this, I believe, in the same wrap-up that I talked about Honey Girl in. This is sci-fi. It's very political, but it also has some plot twists that I didn't see coming, and I really appreciated that. I also appreciated the diversity in the characters, and I appreciated it. It was just written in a way where this is just the world. Lewis didn't really try to force the diversity in your face. It wasn't that feeling you get where people add diversity to their novels just to like check the boxes. This just felt like this was a natural character for her to write with all the characters, and I really liked that about this book. Next prompt is newest fictional crush. I don't really do fictional crushes, so I don't really have an answer for this. Newest favorite character though, oof. That could be a lot of things. What I'm gonna go with though is Evelyn Caldwell from The Echo Wife. I thought she was fabulous. She seemed just unashamedly her. And I don't know, the way she handles situations that are very trying, I really enjoyed. I thought she was just a great character. She's a scientist, so I love that. This is sci-fi, and the basic synopsis is that Evelyn Caldwell discovers that her husband is having an affair, and he's having an affair with a clone of her that he has made. So how's that for a kick in the ass? Anyway, I adored this. Next prompt is a book that made you cry. I don't really cry in books. I cry with movies, but I don't really cry in books, so I don't know if I have an answer for this. A book that made you happy? I'm not sure. You know what? It counts. This is my version of the tag, so it counts. My reread of The Poppy War and The Dragon Republic made me very happy this year. Is it a happy type of book? No. Very little about this book has like feel-good vibes. But being back in the world with those characters, it just felt so good. And reading it the second time through, there were so many interesting things that I noticed, and friendship dynamics that I saw differently, and humor that I didn't pick up on the first time around, and oh man, I just had the best time reading this. The next prompt is the most beautiful book you've bought this year or received. Again, I could have a lot of answers, but I'm going with A Long Petal of the Sea by Isabel Allende. This is gorgeous. I don't know if you can see like the shimmeriness throughout the waves here, but I find it mesmerizing. And I mean, this book was beautiful on the inside too, quite honestly. I love to stare at it. The blues are just, stunning. The final prompt is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? All of them. But if we want to get specific about it, Fingersmith by Sarah Waters. I have heard so many times that this is the best of all her works, this is everybody's favorite, so I saved it for last. And I have now read all the other books of hers, and it is time. I will be finishing this by the end of the year. And that was the Mid-Year Book Freakout Tag. If you have already done this, let me know in the comments because I would love to go check it out. This is pretty much my favorite tag, I think, and I enjoy so much seeing people do this every year, and so I knew I was going to have to do it now that I finally have a booktube channel. So let me know, other than that, if you have any answers to these questions that you want to let me know about, books you'd like to recommend, whatever. Even if you just want to say hi, that's fine too. Leave it all in the comments. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you soon. Bye.